Hi, welcome to the FilmCrop channel. Today I'm going to tell you about a 1983 comedy action movie called Project A. Please support me with a like and a comment. That way you can help the channel grow. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Hong Kong, 19th century. The Ministry of Defense discusses the fight against pirates. No matter how many times they try, they can't deal with them. The pirates have been robbing ships, and they are still robbing ships. Our hero Dragon Ma Yue Lung hurries to the service, where they are already waiting for him. He has been instructed to deliver some papers to the captain for his signature. He wonders, why do they need so many weapons? The dragon answers that they need to kill a lot of pirates. Our hero goes to the bar to see his friends, who look very downcast, but Dragon orders everyone a beer and the friends shout that the Coast Guard are the best. The Hong Kong police guys sitting nearby try their best to harass the Coast Guard, but Dragon restrains his friends, because they don't want any trouble. In response to the cops' insults, two of the Coast Guard guys come out and make jokes about their rivals, too. The other guys at the bar quickly pick up on the funny song. This angers one of the cops, and he throws a plate in the face of the Coast Guard guy. A fight briefly breaks out at the bar, but once again Dragon calms people down. He says they should be friends, not enemies, and everyone disperses. But someone trips him up and he spills beer on one of the cops. The dragon apologizes to the guy, but he pours the beer right on his head. Our hero says he has two options, either apologize or. But the cop has no intention of apologizing and a horrible fight breaks out in the bar. Chairs and shards of bottles fly everywhere. The guys are completely distraught and don't stop fighting until the police come and whistle for them to calm down. But one of the guys replies that they are all law and order and the fight goes on. The dragon and Captain Zhu can't calm down at all. There is a sense of animosity in them. But police officers with shields and Captain Chi finally run into the bar and the rowdy lawmen calm down. But here's the problem, all the navigators have been detained. How are they going to sail into battle with the pirates? The admiral talks to Chi and the boys are released after all. The dragon apologizes to him for what happened, but the admiral says he hates policemen himself and just chases one away who came up to him. The Coast Guard lines up in front of the admiral, who sets the boys up for the coming operation. After approval, they go to the ships, but they get blown up right in front of them. The guards are not lost and run to put out the fire. At this time, two guys talk about finding a ship to take one to Vietnam. He must be hiding from the police. But who is the man? After he leaves, two more guys come to the man in the tuxedo and say they've blown up the Coast Guard ships. The man in the tuxedo is happy about this arrangement, but the two ask him to get 100 police guns. Where can they get that many? The man says he will try, but they need a reliable man named Fei. Fei himself, meanwhile, is playing a gambling game in which he is rapidly winning, despite the fact that his opponents are pure crooks. Their game is interrupted by a guy who flew right onto their table during the fight, but Fei still manages to win. The admiral is removed from office and his Coast Guard unit is disbanded. It passes into the hands of Captain Chi. They must now wear police uniforms and obey Captain Chi. The admiral stops by one last time and gives them one last order. Change their uniforms to police uniforms and keep their spirits up. Dragon Ma Yue Lung comes to see his new Captain Chi. He is very angry and stern. His commands are absurd, but Dragon has no choice but to obey. Tin Zhu taunts the new cops and tries to humiliate them in every way possible. He orders one guy to be shot altogether, and his colleagues do take the guy in, but he collapses before the shooting. Tin Zhu orders him to be sent to clean the latrines. The guys live in Spartan conditions, getting up at night, washing in 10 seconds and other pleasures of life in a military unit. The captain shows them how grenades work and asks a guy from the police to bring a dropped grenade. He substitutes a fake for a real grenade and brings it to the captain. Tin Zhu quickly realizes there is something wrong and throws the grenade at the guys, but they manage to bounce back. After a while, the captain summons the squad and tells them they have to catch one gangster, Chang Sam. He's hiding out in an elite club, but it's full of important people. So they must do it discreetly so as not to disturb anyone. As soon as they arrive at the elite club, Fei sees them and hides. The dragon immediately notices the bandit's friend and tries to catch him, but the managers won't let him pass. Our hero senses something wrong in this elite club. People look at each other strangely, as if they are in cahoots. A gut leads Dragon to one door, but the bandit's friend does not want to let him in and Dragon has to cheat a little to find out that behind the door sit bandits and play gambling. Our hero doesn't let them escape and catches Chang Sam, but he causes a mayhem and fights with the police. Chang Sam is chased, but the club staff starts openly defending the bandit and attacks Dragon and Tin Zhu. Dragon still manages to climb to the bandit's second floor, but is thrown down. This is what the elite club turns out to be. Captain Chi runs into the building and orders Dragon to calm down, asking for forgiveness. Our hero has no intention of bending to this stupid captain, who doesn't understand anything, and throws his police ID card on the floor. If it prevents him from fighting crime, he doesn't need it. The dragon sprawls out and grabs the chandelier, swings on it, and gets to the same floor as Chang Sam. The criminal was already waiting for him, and attacks him, pinning his throat with a hanger, but Dragon finds the strength to fight back and grabs the criminal by the scruff of the neck, piercing the glass of the room with his body. Moments later, Chang Sam finds himself at the feet of Captain Chi, who until the last moment did not believe the dragon. Tin Zhu yells at our hero to get his ID card back, but he won't listen to him and leaves the club. Fei is already waiting for him outside. It turns out that they know Dragon, but have not communicated for a long time because our hero has chosen the path of the law, and Fei on the contrary, the path of theft. Fei tells Dragon that the pirates are getting guns from someone in the police force. Our hero asks his old friend about the man, but he doesn't want to tell him for nothing. Dragon has to help him. Fei asks him to get guns for the bandits. They sail masked to the scene of the deal and see as if Captain Chi was the same man who was selling weapons to the pirates. The guys drop the traitors in the water and take the guns. Dragon hopes the guns will go into good hands, but he doesn't know all the details yet. Fei goes to the deal with the gangsters, but Dragon manages to overhear the dialogue. In the morning, they go to get guns, which Fei has tied to a log at the sawmill and marked with red ribbon, but Dragon comes early and ties red ribbons to each log. They begin to fight, but fortunately for Fei, the former admiral and the police come to the scene and inspect all the logs. Dragon arrives at the admiral's daughter, who tells him that Captain Chi was actually taking weapons for the army. Our hero quickly guesses that Fei has tricked him. The dragon brags to the girl and makes up a story about how he found out where the guns lie. Fei turns up beside him and accuses his friend of betrayal for the sake of some kiss. The gangsters nearby hear about it and run into the house. They look for Fei and Dragon covers him as best he can, but when the remaining gangsters with guns also run into the house, they flee from there. Dragon escapes with the admiral's daughter and hides from the gangsters as best they can, but they come at them from every nook and cranny. Even though the gangsters ride their bikes, they still can't catch up with our hero. Dragon accidentally runs into Captain Chi, who arrests him, but our hero knows all too well how handcuffs work and chains Chi instead, getting on the captain's bike. The chase continues, but the gangsters are again left with nothing. Dragon leads them into a narrow alley, where they all end up on the floor because of his dexterity. Our hero accidentally meets Fei in a cafe. They are about to fight, but they are interrupted by the gangsters, and they start a fight with the gangsters. Side by side, just like old times. The guys decide this is the end and leave the cafe, but the gangsters are waiting for them downstairs. They're at a standstill. But luckily, Captain Chi happens to be nearby, who wants to arrest Dragon, and he voluntarily surrenders to him just to avoid fighting the crazy gangsters. Fei stands next to them and the captain recognizes him as the guy who threw him in the water during the arms deal. Fei denies their acquaintance and walks away. The captain shouts one last thank you to him for giving him a lap, since he can't swim. Fei replies, "You're welcome," and gives herself away. A chase begins after him, and the captain ties Dragon to a pole in the street. This is the end for our hero, as the gangsters have been waiting for the right moment all along and attack Dragon, who is also tied to the street pole. But Dragon's hands are tied, not his feet, which he uses perfectly to fight back, and climbs to the top of the pole. He jumps off it onto the roof of someone's workshop in the chapel, where no one is there, and tries to break his chains with an axe. But there a bandit is already waiting for him, who immediately pounces on him. The dragon finds himself on the gears of the clock, but grabs the rascal with his legs and gets out of captivity. Now he has to somehow get out of the chapel, but how? After all, the stairs are occupied by gangsters. He goes out the window, but someone opens the clock, and he almost falls down. The gangster points a gun at him, but gets shot himself. The police with Tin Chi come to the rescue in time. True, the dragon is completely out of breath and falls off the roof of the chapel. Had it not been for the fabric canopies of the windows, he would have crashed, but the dragon even stood up after such a hard fall. Meanwhile, pirates are operating on the water. They cover themselves with the usual small ships, then drop their flags and attack a ship with peaceful people. They attack the guards recklessly and fearlessly, taking over the ship within minutes of the invasion. Their leader takes a peaceful woman from the ship in his arms, along with the admiral. Dragon overhears the captain's conversations and realizes that the pirates are asking for ransom for the hostages. Gangster Cho enters the room, but the captain is unaware that he is a gangster. He only knows that he has something to do with the pirates. Cho asks the captain to free another captured gangster and make him a knight. The captain notices the dragon hiding and interrogates our hero. Dragon reminds the captain that despite the deplorable nature of things, he should not bend to gangsters and disgrace the honor of the law. He reminds the English consul that he spends his money on antiques, acting like a coward. While people are dying there, thousands of wives will not wait for their husbands. The dragon tries to give him hope, and he succeeds. Our hero is put in charge of the operation. The admiral's daughter shows him that the Coast Guard flag has been raised again. Dragon comes to the admiral in uniform and hands him his uniform. Project A will be carried out as planned. Winnie Chick meets Mr. Cho by chance. He invites her into the carriage and harasses the girl, who masterfully distracts him, while Dragon stealthily sneaks into their carriage and kidnaps Mr. Cho. They torture the gangster, who is immediately frightened to tears and begs him not to be touched and tells them where to find the pirates. The dragon arrives at the port disguised as his own and tells the secret password to the boatman, who takes him to another ship. The dragon gets into the ship and pretends to be Mr. Cho. Suddenly Faye climbs out of a barrel nearby. The dragon asks for his help. After another transfer, he is taken by boat to a cave where a pirate base is located. Now the hardest part is enduring Mr. Cho's image. He is approached by the head of the pirates, whom everyone knows by the nickname Sea God. The dragon brought the pirates weapons and asked for the release of the hostages, but Lo would not even listen to our hero and sent him to a room. The Coast Guard discreetly sails up to the pirates' base, disguised in black uniforms. Dragon also changes into his uniform and leaves his room. In the hallway, he accidentally bumps into Faye, but after bumps, the old friends recognize each other. Dragon is almost unmasked, and is asked for the password. Our hero says he only knows the gestures and beats the pirate. Tinky almost gets caught, too, but distracts the foolish pirate with a parable about a llama he made up as he goes along, and knocks the pirate out, too. And the Coast Guard's password was the phrase "punch me in the face." The dragon meets with Tin Chi and asks for the password. The other one says "punch me in the face," which Dragon does. When he finds the others, he realizes he knocked out the wrong one. Thinky learns the password from one of the pirates. The stars are shining tonight. The guys continue stealthily knocking out the pirates. A dragon nearly attacks Thinchi disguised as a pirate. They team up and go the three of them into the cave to free the hostages. The guys get crafty and stand behind each other as if they were one person. The pirates guarding the hostages are shocked when they see that Mr. Cho has 6 arms. The guys take advantage of this and knock out the villains, freeing the hostages. The pirates' feast continues, and Dragon changes back into his tuxedo and goes to Sam Pao Lo while his friends free the hostages. Lo agrees to free the Englishmen, but wants them to dance one last time. Dragon realizes that this will give them away and decides to samprovive by suggesting that all the pirates start an arm wrestling tournament against Sam Pao Lo. Faye, meanwhile, tries to escape with the looted chests, but notices that the dangerous gangster who was in the chapel is back. If he recognizes the dragon, he will kill him immediately. He must save his old friend again. Faye runs to the remaining policemen and warns them that either Dragon will die alone or they will die with him. They decide to go to the aid of Dragon, who is trying to quietly escape. Sam Pao meets a gangster returning from prison and tells him that his friend Cho is also here. Dragon runs up and hugs the gangster, pretending to be Cho, but as soon as he starts to doubt him, he slams him with his speech. Dragon starts to say that he feels guilty for putting the gangster in jail, and Sam Pao Lo, who has already gained sympathy for Mr. Cho, starts to calm him down, because he believed him. The gangster only manages to say that his name is not Cho. But Dragon gets out of this as well, pretending as if he is so ashamed that he can no longer call himself Cho. He tries to leave, but Sam Pao asks him to stay. Suddenly Faye runs in and tells them that the police are everywhere and they must defend themselves. The pirates run off on a false trail. Here's Faye rescuing our hero once again. But how did the police find them? The dragon starts blaming the gangster for everything so that he himself is cleared of all suspicion. The captain quickly understands what they are talking about and confirms Dragon's words. Sam Pao Lo believes him. Tin Chi says they are blowing up pirate boats, and Faye faints, as his boat contained all his loot. In the cave, a mess breaks out. The guys fight absolutely fearlessly while Dragon silently watches this gruesome spectacle. But he gets tired and takes off his false mustache. Now he faces a fight with the main villain in this cave. With Sam Pao Lo, the storm of the seas. Faye joins the boys. They remember that they have grenades and pile up all the exits so that no backup will come to them. Now they need to defeat Sam Pao Lo. Faye wanted to escape, but as soon as he saw the pirates in the passageway, he threw a grenade in there. Faye joins Dragon and Tin Chi and cuts down Sam Pao Lo's sword with the first blow. He acts like a true berserker, severely injuring the storm of the seas. But Sam Pao Lo never gives up, which means the fight will go on. Acting in threes, they roll Sam Pao Lo to the floor, but But the blows are still not enough, and he gets up. They roll the pirate into the carpet and put a grenade there. Sam Paulo is finally defeated. The guys try to get off the island, but as it turns out, they've been sailing for 3 days in the wrong direction. But that's okay, they're coast guards after all, so they'll manage somehow.